Hi guys, it's me again, more than 2 years later. So it's been over 2 years since I last put up a video on this channel regarding Prozac and depression. So I wanted to update you guys since I saw a couple of comments, people asking for an update. And I keep on looking up because I have a list of things I wanted to cover. I have quite a few things, so I probably should just get started. So first, with regards to Prozac, I actually stopped taking it after a few months from starting, mainly because I just didn't feel any results on it. I actually did end up going on a different drug, which frankly I forgot the name of, but I didn't feel much of a difference on it either and stopped taking it as well. Having said that, since then, I would say overall I feel better than before, and on average, and I've definitely accomplished a lot of things since then that I didn't think would be possible. At least with regard, like I've started making money again, putting in 40 hours a week of work. I've did really well in a certain like professional exam I did. I actually went on a couple of trips. All these things I just didn't see as possible back then. So I've been much more functional, productive, and that overall. Having said that, I wouldn't say I'm totally over my depression. I still have some really dark days where I just feel really down, and I just try and ride it out when I do. But it is still not fully gone, but I've made significant progress overall, I would say. And I was trying to think about what it is that really made a difference. It's probably hard to know for sure what really did help, but there are a few ideas, a few things that came to mind, 7 things that I wanted to go through. It's quite a few things, a lot I'd want to talk about, but I hope the videos end up being too long, and I hope that you'll just at least find one thing that maybe applies to you if you're struggling through depression, or know someone who is. So with regards to these things, first is structuring my day. I started just basically trying to follow, just making my days follow a rhythm or certain pattern. Like every day I would try and decide, okay, I'm going to wake up, have a cup of coffee, then I'll work on like studying for this exam for a couple of hours, then I'm going to go for a walk, then I'll listen to a podcast, and I'll have some food. And I just tried to actually, my day just became very routine-like and just follow the same rhythm. And for whatever reason, at least for me, that provided some degree of comfort, especially when I made sure like the day had a couple of things that made me feel like I'd accomplished something. And yeah, that's the one thing I would add to that. One thing I feel really helped me, especially when I had to work on stuff, like I had work type stuff, is that I started following this thing called like Pomodoro technique, which is you can like probably download an app called Pomodoro or something like that. And the basic idea is that you work in chunks, in small chunks. So basically you decide, let's say you have a task to work on, you decide, okay, I'm gonna focus for 25 minutes. That's basically a Pomodoro, 25 minutes. Once 25 minutes are done, I can take a break. I'll take like a 5-minute break. Then I can get back and do another Pomodoro, another 25 minutes of just focusing. Then take a 5-minute break. And then, every couple of hours you'll actually take a longer break, like 15 minutes. It's just that I felt that was helpful for me because if you for instance, you have a big task and you feel like you're going to need to spend a few hours on it, it's easier to think about focusing for 25 minutes at a time than it is to like think about focusing for like multiple hours at a time. And I actually followed this for quite a while, be it for like studying for an exam that I ended up doing really well on, or even like when I work on things. And I generally, I don't know, find it helped me, at least definitely at the beginning when I was really struggling. And so that's that. Basically just get into a rhythm in your day. You can also consider following Pomodoro technique for things that are like work-like stuff, and have something structured into your day that make you feel like you're moving forward. Number 2, related to number 1, number 2 is setting goals and making progress. So for me, for instance, at one point I decided, okay, I'm going to take a class online. You can take free online courses on the website, for instance, called Coursera. I picked like a couple of courses in areas I was interested in. I started taking the courses. I'm learning new things. I can take a test, and when I did well, I felt good, and then I finished the course, felt really good, and felt like I'm moving forward. I'm learning something. So that was nice. and actually that eventually led me to ultimately get actual, paid work in the area I was learning online. So that was really nice. So just kind of set a goal and try and make progress on it. Number three, related to that, related to setting goals and making progress, is gradual improvement. So basically, the basic idea here I'm getting at is kind of you can slowly work your way up. So like, at the beginning, for instance, I just was like, okay, I'm going to spend, let's say, a couple of hours today or in a day work studying. So it's not that hard. You just say you're going to work for a couple of hours. And if I felt confident I can do the 2 hours, I'll be, okay, now maybe I'll try and do 3 hours, then eventually 4 hours and that kind of thing. Like right now, I'm actually kind of surprised I'm putting in, the last few weeks at least, I've been putting in 40 plus hours of work a week. Frankly, I think it might be too much. I might actually roll back, which is okay. I've done that before. I'll decide, I feel like I'm putting in too much time to something and it's getting too stressful, then I might pull back, which is fine. But just the idea of that you can gradually improve. You don't have to kind of go all out from the get-go, and, whatever feels comfortable. And if it's okay, if you feel overwhelmed, you can take a step back and so on. I realize I'm probably in a maybe somewhat lucky situation where I have the luxury to do that sometimes, where some people might not. But wherever in your life you can do that, you can pull back, be it on a personal goal, financial goal, whatever. Just kind of take it easy and just try and do gradually improve. Number four, lowering expectations. This kind of relates, I guess, what I was saying with the gradual improvement, just to kind of not overwhelm yourself. But I can mention, I guess, a couple of specific examples here, which will be sort of my number 5 and number 6. Basically, don't have a lot of some people, for me definitely, some of the areas that give me anxiety, probably keep me depressed, probably related to some goals I feel like I didn't meet. So I try kind of just lowering my expectations and trying to kind of lowering what is acceptable and what's fine with me, because life becomes easier that way. It's kind of like you're trying to, I don't know, I feel like it's like two aspects. You can kind of like try and make things easier or make things better in your life in a couple of ways, and different people preach different things. Like some people are all about like, you got to be ambitious, got to move forward. So that can help up to a point, trying to kind of move forward. But then other people, like if you, I don't know, look into things like Buddhism or Stoicism, whatever, are more about sort of accepting what's attainable and kind of taking it easy to a point, especially things like Buddhism. And I feel like both approaches can be helpful, and depending on your personality, you probably want to go one way or the other. But for me, I guess I try to do a bit of both. It seems kind of conflicting up to a point. So I want to kind of be ambitious and make progress, but I kind of also want to kind of take it easy and lower expectations. Now, to kind of make this more concrete, I'll mention a couple of areas where I've tried to lower expectations and do other things. So that'll be my number 5 and number 6. Number 5 is money. So with regards to money, I just basically try to accept that I can live on less. And I also kind of just realized that in this day and age, if you have like internet connection, you can actually have access to a lot of stuff for free. Like you have endless free content for learning, education, for entertainment, like movies, shows, whatever. So that's really nice. And then, at least for me, I mean, frankly, I just lived with my parents. I just kind of accepted part of maybe lowering expectations, accepted that, and found some degree of joy in it. And so that just helped me, especially because money was an area that was giving me a lot of grief and like probably making me more depressed. So I just kind of accept that maybe I can live on less and try to actually keep track of my spending. So it's been now maybe like a year and a half or so where I've just been tracking everything that I spend. I just put it into like a Google sheet, and then I just track and see how much I've spent and try and stay within a certain budget and that kind of thing. And actually kind of also can just become fun in itself. See like how low you can go. Also depends on your personality, etc. But especially at least when I wasn't making any money, that kind of made me feel a bit better. And I also did take a step back and kind of reviewed like how much money I had saved up from before, and realized that especially if I keep my spending low, I could actually that could actually last me for a good while. So that was helpful for me, just kind of lowering the budget that I'm willing to work within, appreciating what I can do within that budget, and then seeing that I'm making progress in that area, and kind of realizing that I could last longer on what I already had saved. So just kind of money, focusing on that, figuring out how I can make the most out of what I had and what I'm able to attain at the time. Okay, number 6 is women. So I mean, at least initially, back to the lowering expectations, I decided to accept being single. Um, then that way I have less things to worry about in terms of, I don't try and go out and date and meet someone, and not to mention, frankly, the expenses that usually come with that, and like, especially if you're kind of in a mental state that's not that great for relationships, it can kind of be tricky situation, and you might go through a lot of ups and downs. So I just kind of tried to be accepting, just not having a girlfriend, not dating altogether. Now, frankly, since at the beginning that was what I was doing, but eventually I did start to do some dating. So it goes back to the whole gradual improvement, right? So you might just set a certain goal that gives you some degree of comfort, and then eventually, if the circumstances change or you change, so that you might change that. And so at least that was helpful for me, at least setting certain goals and parameters that made things more in control for me with regards to money and women. And then if I made some progress, eventually I might change what I'm trying to achieve on those fronts. But I would say it's probably the whole relationship situation is tricky for people. I mean, especially if you're like, you have a depression tendency, relationships can, I mean, on the one hand, sometimes most people probably feel like they need to be in a relationship. I'm guessing lots of people do. And then you might go into one, and at least the pattern I get into, then when I'm in one, then it can be a lot of up and down, and I feel really good for a bit, then I feel kind of depressed, something goes wrong, and it can be it's really tricky. So I don't know, it's like Blake, you know yourself a bit better, so you might want to know what it is you want to pursue or not pursue on that front. Okay, number 7, maybe the most controversial one, left it for last, is psychedelics. I'd rather not go into too much detail here, but I basically tried to experiment with psychedelics, and it's a bit of hit and miss, frankly, but essentially I ended up taking this one particular thing, that psychedelic, that at least for me gave me for a short period of time, would give me a bit of a high, and whenever I basically sort of started using it almost like a quick fix antidepressant pill, where I would just, at least it would help me kind of get out of bed and feel like I want to do something and feel a bit more confident and just get something done. Frankly, I haven't been taking it much in the past while. I think that's because I've actually gotten to a rhythm where I've actually been working, and I've kind of discovered it's actually counterproductive overall for work. But when I started taking it initially, I did feel it helped me kind of at least, get my butt off the bed and be able to get something done and just kind of get into a state where I'm kind of more excited about things. So that's something that I feel might have probably helped, especially initially. But there's a bit of playing with fire in the process, because I did definitely, at least with those things, dose is like a really big deal. You got to pay attention to. Like a couple of occasions I kind of messed up, how much dose of a dose I took, and I got into a pretty messed up state of mind. So you kind of got to be careful if you go that route. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So 7 things, just to mention them, is structuring my day, getting to a certain rhythm. Number 2 is setting goals and making progress. Number 3 is making gradual improvement. Number 4, lowering expectations. Number 5, for me, focused on the area of money and what to do that's attainable there. Number 6, focusing on the area of women, just combination of lowering expectations and doing what's attainable there. Number 7 was psychedelics. So I hope you may have found some sort of nugget, at least in there, that might be applicable to you or someone you know in that area. And that's my update. Thank you. Take care.